Okay, I'm going to try this again. This video is video on dates. Now, I cannot use the smart board for some reason, so I'm going to have to write on this board over here. By all three of my classes, 102 is the only exception. 102 has 5 unit tests. 120 has 4 unit tests. And 155 has 4 unit tests. The reason you know this is because you've looked at your syllabus. And if you haven't looked at your syllabus, then I don't understand why you haven't. You need to look at it. The reason you need to know how many tests you have is so you can find out where you need to be at a certain point. You don't need me as an instructor to give you dates. Now, as I said in class, and as I said in the videos that I sent you for the first day of class, I will put the dates up for the exams. I will put them up in around the area that we figured in class and on the videos. Some of y'all aren't watching the videos. Some of you aren't reading the handouts. It says, for example, if you have 14 weeks of class and you have 4 unit tests, then you take the 14 divided by the 4 unit tests, which gives you 3.5 weeks per unit. So we're going to do that for 102. $155 and Math 120. Now Math 102 is the only exception. Math 102 has 5 unit tests. So that's going to be 10 weeks divided by 5 units. Now I tell my 120s, just like I told you in the videos, I doubt very seriously that we'll get to Unit 5. If we do, it will be a very small unit. It will be like 1 week if we get to it. So that comes out to 2 weeks per unit. So if we start, if our first day of class is 5/14/2014, and I know y'all were saying, why is he going over this? I'm going over this because I received 5 emails last night asking me when's the first day of the exam. After I had sent you these videos and after I had sent you this handout. So it tells me that either I'm not explaining it very well or you're not reading or watching the videos. So we're going to have to figure that out. So if it starts on 5/14, a week and a half, if you're in an online class, that's 14 days plus what? Half of 3.5, that's 17.5, which is 18 days. So if you're in an online class, you need to say 18 days from the 14th. Well, what is it? 31 days would be what? 7 days, so that's 21. And then 7 days would be, another 7 would be what? 28. And then, so that's 2 weeks right there. So, I'm sorry, 2 weeks, not 2.5 weeks. 2 weeks. So you're talking, if you're in a Math 102 class with me, you're probably talking about a test, Unit 1 test, around June 1st. Now that's tentative. Okay? Because some of you procrastinators, and that's the ones that worry about the dates the most, you are going to spaz out around the 31st because you're going to say, you were saying there's going to be a test on the 1st. I didn't say there was going to be a test on the 1st. I said there would be a test around June the 1st based on 2 weeks per unit based on 10 weeks divided by 5 units. All right? So what about Unit 2 test? Well, you get your calendar out and you go from the first and you count 2 weeks, and that'd be June the 14th. So around June the 14th, you're probably looking at another test. So for Math 155 and 120, which has 4 unit tests, and you know that because you looked at your syllabus, 4 unit tests into 10 weeks. And same here. That comes out to 2.5 weeks per unit. So that means your test is probably going to fall a little bit after June the 1st. Now, if you are in a Math 155 and the Math 155 class, you need to count those days. I mean, when you go home and work on this stuff, that's a day. So if you're working on it between classes, that's good. So that would be about 17 days. So 17 days from the 14th, that would be around the end of the month. But again, this is tentative. Well, Hubert, how am I supposed to know end of month or beginning? I'd say probably the first week in May. First week in June. Because y'all have the Math 155 and 120, y'all have basically a couple of days more than the 102s because they have 5 unit tests if we get that far. Alright? So you're talking about your first unit test is somewhere around the first week in June. And what you do is you take your calendar, you get a big calendar, and you put these tentative dates. Well, Hubert, how do you know when the test is going to be? I can't just go around wondering. Well, that's where the syllabus comes in. That's why we give you the syllabus. You take the syllabus. I'm just going to use, I don't know which one I'm going to use. I'll just pick one, 120. Okay, here's the syllabus. Should be on the board right there. All right. We said about 14 or 120. 120, you have, let's say, 17 days. If you're on an online class, you got 17 days. Well, how many days do you have? I mean, how many sections do you have? There's 9 sections. So you take 9 and divide it into 17. 9 into 17, well, that's 1 point and 1.8, something like that. I don't know. Let's see, 9 will go in there one time and leave 1.1. I don't think that's right. 9 will go in there one time. Well, 9 times 2 is 18, so it's almost 2. I mean, we're not talking about concrete here. We're talking about scheduling. We're talking about planning. We're not talking about, teacher, give me a date so I can wait till the last minute. No, we're not doing that. You got almost 2 days per section. Almost 2 days per section. So there you go. First 2 days, second 2 days, third 2 days, fourth 2 days, and so on. Well, Hubert, that still doesn't give me a day. Well, as I told y'all in class and in the videos, when you get toward the end of a unit with the syllabus, that's when you need to start worrying about a what? And that's when you go a test. So, let's just do an example here. Let's use this example. I told you in Math 120, I sent you an email, and it said to read the first and second chapter material. 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. You need to read that, and you need to read 2.2, 2.3, and 2.4. I told you that that's 20% of the grade. so of your unit test. That's 20% of your unit test. The rest of it's coming out of Chapter 3. Then where do you need to spend most of your time? Chapter 3. All right? Again, planning, scheduling. You don't just come into a classroom and expect the teacher to give you everything. You've got to put forth a little effort, and you have to read a little bit, and you have to plan a little bit. So, Wednesday, let's just do a calendar here. I don't know how to draw very good. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You started class on Wednesday the 14th. This is the 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. All right, we're just going to, since all of my tests are going to fall around the first of the month, we're going to finish out May here. All right? Okay, so Hubert said that Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 is reading. He said that it's definitions, so probably I need to get that done in the first 2 days. All right, so right in here, I'm going to give you 3 days. And you put Chapter 1 and 2 material, read, and definitions. Okay, and then I go on Chapter 3, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4. That's all in here. Well, when Hubert gets to 3.4, let's say Hubert gets to around 3.4 right here on the videos. As I asked the 102 students and the 155 students, when I get to 3.4 on the videos or in class or by the calendar, when 3.4 needs to be gotten to or getting to, what does that mean? Well, if you were in my class, the whole class went, that means test is coming up. Yep, it is. So when you see material on 3.4 on the videos, then that means you got a test coming up. And I'm trying to target that test to be somewhere right in there for the 102s and somewhere the next week right in here for the Math 155 and Math 120. Now, you may go through and you may do all of the unit in the first week. Well, that's good, but you're going to have to wait until everybody else takes their test. Well, how will you know? Well, I'll put it on a course compass. My Labs Plus. And let me also tell you this. And I said this in the videos. I remember saying this in the videos. I will not have homework go into a test. I will not have you turning in homework when you're supposed to be taking a test. So, if I will not have you doing homework while you are taking a test, then what does that mean? That means that I will cut off the homework before I start the test. So you can write that down. I will not have homework overlap with test dates. Period. So, if you read this sentence, that means that homework will terminate before test begins. Well, Hubert, I don't see any dates on My Labs Plus. I think I addressed that in the handouts. Let's go back to the handout. Homework online is started when I start the material. Now, of course, we've all started. Everybody started. Even the 102 and the 155 has started. So the 120, you should have already started. You started reading, because I sent you a email that says y'all need to get to reading. Write down these definitions. 20% of your Unit 1 test. Then get into Chapter 3 and do problem after problem after problem after problem. Send me homework. Send me Ask My Instructor. Send me the questions. I do the videos. I send it to the 120 class. Same thing with the 155s and the 102s. We talked about that in the videos. We talked about it the first day of class, and I'm talking about it right here. Homework deadlines. Here it is. Homework deadlines will be posted when we get toward the end of the unit. That's what it says right there. Homework deadlines will be posted when we get toward the end of the unit. For example, this is made up. I have to say this is made up because if I put Chapter 8, I'm going to have a student calling me from Math 120 saying, "We don't have Chapter 8 in our syllabus." For example, I'm making this up. If we are on Unit 1 and it covers 8.1 through 8.8, when we get to 8.7 in the class, or when you get to 8.7 by schedule, by planning the 2 weeks and the 2.5 weeks, then you need to worry about the test and deadline for the homework. The test opening up and the homework deadline are hand in hand. And they will fall according to the movement of the class, which I would decide, or the scheduling and planning of weeks divided by unit test. This is important right here. If you don't see a start date or an end date, you don't need to worry about it. Just do the work. And that's where I tell students in class, the person that worries about the dates are the persons that wait till the last minute. Now, I know there's somebody out there going, "Well, I'm just very concerned. I want to make sure that I get my stuff done." Work. Get to work. You've got an outline. You've got 2.5 weeks, depending on what class you're on. Get to work. Work yourself to death. Work every day. But I'm not going to put, okay, let's see, 1.1 and 1.2, I'm going to make the students do that the first 2 days. So I'm going to make it due on the 16th. Then I'm going to make the next 2 units due on the 18th. Then I'm going to make the next 2 units due on the 20th. I'm not doing that. Because half of you will do the work, half of you won't. And then I'll have to go in and extend the homework 15 times for 15 different students. I'm not doing it. So, you need to read this again. If you don't see a start date and end date, you don't need to worry about it. What you as students need to worry about, you need to get you a calendar and you need to mark every 2 weeks. Every 2.5 weeks, 102 students. And then you need to work your little tails off in that 2.5 weeks or 2 weeks. And then when you start seeing the videos converge to the last section, then you will start to see dates appear. I will also send emails out, and I will also send a video out saying, "Okay, I think we're about ready for a test." When you hear me say, "I think we're about ready for a test," that means start looking for some dates on My Labs Plus. "Well, Hubert, I don't know if I'll have enough time." You'll have 3 to 5 days. I know that says 7 to 10 days, but in the summer it's 3 to 5 days. So, like I say, I've covered all this. And I may not have covered it as in depth on the video because I thought with a handout and a video, I thought most of you could, figure out your schedules. But if you didn't read the video, didn't read the handout, or didn't do the video, then I could see why you'd be lost. And I'm not putting dates up every day. I'm not doing that. So if you want to know when the first unit test is, it's going to be around the first of the month. So get to work. There you go. I hope this helps, and I'm not trying to be hard to deal with, and I'm not trying to be sarcastic. But you are adult students. You are college students. And you all placed into this algebra, or this Math 155, or this Math 120. So that means that you can put a few things together. Now, the only thing I want to talk about now, and I'm just saying this before I shut the video off, is make sure you utilize the Ask My Instructor button on the homework. Okay? Now I went over it in the second video, which is my Labs Plus video. Especially the Math 120s. Because the Math 102s, you're going to get the lecture based on the 102 lecture class. So the 102 online class, you're going to get the videos from that class. The 155, you're going to get videos from class, so you don't have to worry too much about what I'm going to cover, because I'm going to cover whatever y'all tell me to cover in those two classes, 102 and 155. The 120 class is the one that's going to have to send me, Ask My Instructor, questions. Now, you don't have to, but what I'm saying is, if you're having trouble with something, you need to hit Ask My Instructor. Send me a request to help you with that problem. I will do a video, and then that video will be posted on YouTube, and I'll send you the link. I'll send the class the link. Same thing with 102 and 155. And that way, you will have some idea on where everybody is based on that video. Because I'll give you the section and number and all that, and then you'll be deciding, and you'll say, okay, well, I need to speed up because there's people in 2.5 and I'm only on 1.4, so I need to speed up. Everything will work out. There's no need to spaz. I'm not gonna say one day, okay, today's the test. You got 2.5 hours to take the test. Get it done. I'm not gonna do that. Because I can't do that with the online class because there's so many variables playing into the online class. Mainly, if they wasn't taking an online class, that means they have time to take the class. So people that's taking online classes probably don't have as much time as someone in the lecture class. So I'm taking that into effect, and that's why I'm leaving it pretty open. So remember, take your unit test, divide it into the weeks we have 10, and that will give you a schedule. Put it on your calendar, get a big calendar, like on the refrigerator, and write out everything. Then start doing work based on that 2.5 weeks or 2-week calendar. And when you start seeing the videos toward the end of the unit, then you know we're going to have a test coming up. And when you hear me say on the videos, or you hear me say, like, we got a test coming up, then you know to look on My Labs Plus and look for some dates. I hope this helps.